Tyson is 21 and a half years old, unbeaten in 33 fights with 29 knockouts. Tubbs is hurt. Tubbs is hurt badly.
And it's over.
Iron Mike Tyson!
And he wants to know what he has, and he has every right to know. If Michael has $50 million and he's supposed to have $70 million, there's a problem.
And you ride around town in a $183,000 Bentley like this one. But heavyweight champ Mike Tyson believed his Bentley was bad luck, so he gave it to two Port Authority police officers who came to investigate a minor fender bender.
Now let's see who's the champion and who's the chump.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, once and for all, let's get ready to rumble 12 rounds for the undefeated heavyweight championship of the world.
And he's down again and in serious trouble. A right hand right on the chin.
And as far as I know, this might be my last fight.
He's a manic depressive. He is. I mean, that's just a fact.
Mike Tyson was knocked unconscious, not by human fists, but by a tree yesterday.
It was at his Bernardsville, New Jersey mansion that heavyweight boxing champion Mike Tyson allegedly went on another emotional rampage.
Actress Robin Givens says she wants out of their 8-month marriage, and she has hired celebrity divorce lawyer Marvin Mitchelson to make it happen.
I'm back. In the city which has been the site of so many big boxing events over the past decade, we are live at the Las Vegas Hilton in Las Vegas, Nevada, where tonight, undisputed heavyweight champion Mike Tyson will defend his title against the WBC and WBA #1 contender, Frank Bruno. It's scheduled for 12 rounds. The long wait is over. After 8 months, Mike Tyson climbs back into the very ring where he won the heavyweight title over 2 years ago. And this fight takes place on the anniversary of a very propitious date in boxing history. 25 years ago tonight, Cassius Marcellus Clay, soon to become Muhammad Ali, knocked out and upset the knockout artist Sonny Liston to become heavyweight champion and introduce the modern era of boxing, some would say the modern era of sports in America. This is an excited crowd, some of it having flown here from England to root for Frank Bruno, most of these people having waited a long time for the reemergence in the ring of the heavyweight champion of the world, Mike Tyson. Hello again, I'm Jim Lafley, and all of us welcome you to this momentous occasion. We have waited, as has the boxing public, through 8 months of delays, sometimes with frustration, sometimes with mounting anger, as this fight was postponed no fewer than 5 different times. Very shortly, it will finally take place. I'm working, as always, with the noted boxing journalist Larry Merchant. And Larry, when last we saw Tyson fight, on June 27 of last year, when he knocked out Michael Spinks, this bout was scheduled to be held in London because there was some concern as to how difficult it might be to sell tickets here in the United States. Now it is a widely anticipated occasion. Why?
Well, Jim, you can put the blame on those old box office standbys: sex, money, and power. Mike Tyson married a woman who thought their personal lives should be a photo opportunity. He added his own 22-year-old's craziness, and they lived unhappily ever after, in public. So public it was bizarre. Entertaining, but bizarre. And now everyone wants a ringside seat at Mike Tyson's circus. They want to see this man-child who lives recklessly, breaks all the rules, and still comes out punching.
And even in the absence, Larry, of Robin Givens, there is still sex, money, and power. Every day with Mike Tyson is a publicity event. Yesterday at the weigh-in, Frank Bruno observed the modern tradition of weigh-in as competitive psychodrama. He stepped up to Mike Tyson and tried to engage him in a staring match, and Tyson, showing that he could bottom anything Bruno wanted to try, engaged in a little bit of street machismo, pulling down his knickers slightly to try to over-intimidate Bruno. Then, later in the day, Bruno came to this very ring in the company of his hypnotist, no doubt trying for some positive imagery in this ring. He left, crossed himself, went back to the room with his hypnotist, and prepared himself a little more psychologically and mentally for this fight. Mike Tyson, incidentally, also has a hypnotist. Ray Leonard has been known to hypnotize opponents in the ring. And Ray, as Muhammad Ali was 25 years ago, Frank Bruno is an overwhelming underdog. Similar odds tonight. Does he have any chance to win?
Well, personally, I'm not an advocate of having a hypnotist in my training regimen. I mean, to each his own. As a matter of fact, that's Frank Bruno's prerogative, and Mike Tyson uses one also. The general consensus claim that Bruno doesn't have a prayer, so that's when the hypnotist comes into play, because it gives you confidence, it makes you more optimistic. But one thing about it, a hypnotist can't help you fight.
Mike Tyson does know how to fight. Frank Bruno hopes he knows how. And many of you may be watching again, as you did 8 months ago when Tyson last fought, but many of you may be watching for the first time a heavyweight championship fight because so much has happened. That was then. This is now. In his brief boxing career, the only constant for Mike Tyson has been change. He has lived in a state of perpetual motion as turbulent business and personal affairs have revolved around him. All of us have witnessed the events. Who among us can measure the change? At the beginning, the roles were clearly defined. Mike did the fighting. Bill Caton and Jim Jacobs did the managing. There was never a question of who was boss.
We hear now that you're going to fight Larry Holmes next. Why Larry Holmes?
Well, I don't have any say-so in the matter. I'll just a fighter, and I'll defend my title against any man in the world. If I was you, I'd talk to Jim Jacobs about that.
I'm the boss, by no means. And I don't say that to be egotistical by the furthest imagination. I just say that because I generate the income. No one gets paid for me. I generate all the income. I take all the risk.
Bill Caton had supported Mike Tyson for 8 years. His problems began in March 1988, when his partner, Jim Jacobs, Tyson's protector and best friend, passed away. Caton's relationship with the champion had never been as close, so questions arose about his future role as manager.
Even if I didn't like anyone in the organization, we had to continue to stick together. Because we both help each other. They can't find a better fighter, I can't find a better management. So we all need each other.
I would never want Bill Caton to be my manager again. He doesn't respect me, he doesn't respect what I stand for, and he believes that he thinks he's Mike Tyson. You know what I mean? Lots of times I figure, well, why don't Bill Caton fight if he figured that he's the commodity? Why don't he fight?
Like Beauty and the Beast, Robin Givens and Mike Tyson were the hottest, most intriguing newlyweds of 1988. But the headlines were not always flattering, and the couple was together just 8 months.
As far as like her killing me, divorcing me, you know, I make that decision, right? You know, divorcing me. Someone who I dearly loved and made a big mistake, and I hope when all this is over that we both continue to be friends and continue to be successful and happy.
The P.T. Barnum of boxing, promoter Don King has usually found a way to attract the biggest names in the sport. King is a man whose gregarious style will never find him short of words, but whose character will always be the source of controversy.
And when you mention Don King's name, there's a dark shadow and cloud comes over everything. And you think about, oh, Don King, I mean, they have the villain. And this is a statement that I always made of myself. If you have a snake in a room where the lights and everything's on, you could be in a room, you could do business, you could do anything in the room, as long as your eyes on the snake and you see where he's going. But once you cut the light off, then you have the reason to panic because you don't know where he's at, and he could attack at any moment.
But while others were pulling and tugging at the champ, Don King came to Tyson's rescue, guiding him through his most chaotic episode.
Don King had helped me through a great deal of pressure when I was going through distress. Bill Caton didn't care to put 2 cents in. No one else cared to help. So no one can tell me anything bad about Don King. If I say Don King's a no-good, lousy thief, then everybody can believe me he's a no-good right there. But I'm saying Don King did nothing but good to me.
A disciple of the late Customato, Kevin Rooney trained Mike Tyson from 1982 to 1988. But after Tyson became champion, rumors spread that Rooney would be replaced.
You see, the handwriting's on the wall. If something is to go wrong, it's all going to come on Kevin Rooney. But that's the business. So, you know, it's no big deal. I'm not going to lose any more hair over it.
This past December, Kevin Rooney was fired. Today, it's a new team with more members than before, some of them getting their first taste as boxing professionals. And some think Rooney's association with Tyson may not yet have come to an end.
I won't say history. You know what I mean? Kevin has a lot of things, you know what I mean, he has to talk to me about, and eventually we will talk.
In the past few years, we have all been Tysonized by the evolution of one of the most quicksilver phenomena in sport. The moments and events he has experienced in such a brief period of time add up to more than most of us could envision in a lifetime. Imagine what it's been like to be Mike Tyson.
People wouldn't want to be in my shoes. They really think so because they say, wow, I can make money, I can get rich. But if they had to go through some of the things I had to go through, I think they would cry. Sometimes it's so depressing you got to go through. Being Mike Tyson is very exciting. There's never been like a dull moment in my life. Even though I sometimes say, wow, you know what I mean? I don't think about it, and sometimes I call myself, I don't believe that happened. You know, it's just never dull. It's very, you know what I mean, charismatic all the time. And living that life 24 hours a day, I mean, that's a head trip. It's like, whoa.
It's been said that to live is to change, and to be perfect is to have changed often. It's still too early to tell whether the changes in Mike Tyson's life will ultimately be seen to have been for the better or for the worse. And we bring you back live now to the Hilton in Las Vegas, where coming up, World Championship Boxing on HBO Sports. Undisputed heavyweight champion Mike Tyson defending the title against #1 contender Frank Bruno of England in a fight scheduled for 12 rounds. One update. Several days have passed since our narration of the Mike Tyson then and now piece. During that period of time, Kevin Rooney filed a breach of contract suit against Mike Tyson. Tyson responded by saying that there was now no chance that Rooney would ever again return as his trainer. Kevin Rooney joins us now live via satellite from Schenectady, New York, to talk to our Larry Merchant. Larry.
Kevin, thank you for joining us. Kevin, what is your response to Mike's statement that it's all over between you now because of the lawsuit? Were you precipitous in filing that lawsuit?
You know, I filed the lawsuit because I was left in the dark. No one spoke to me. I have a contract. I have a contract.
It almost sounds like there's an alienation of affection between you, and that's what bothers you.
Well, definitely. He's like a brother to me. He's my younger brother. Jay was like a brother to me. They're both out there. Jay goes out there, says he's doing it for cause. I'm doing it for cause. These guys throw Cus the model's name around, and they don't live up to what Cus really meant.
Jay Bright, of course, is the young man who's going to be in the corner tonight. Before we get to him, you made almost $2 million off the Tyson Spinks fight. By far the largest amount of money a trainer has ever made. Do you have any regrets about standing up so firmly for Bill Cayton in his dispute with Tyson, which led to your separation?
I didn't. It's not a question that I stood up for Bill Cayton. I stood up for what was right, for what Cus had started. No one showed me that Bill Cayton did anything wrong. He's not the most personal guy in the world. He's a very good businessman. And I felt that he could be trusted. I wasn't sticking up for Bill Cayton. I was sticking up for Mike Tyson all the time, all the shows that went on, talking in Mike's favor, talking against the women, talking if Mike was going to get back with the women, that's okay. That's what got me in trouble. That and the fact that I said, stay with Bill Cayton. You have 3 years to go on a contract. Do the right thing. Be a man and just do the contract. You don't got to like the guy. Call all the shots. Speak to Cayton. What you're doing with King, you could be doing with Cayton. You can tell Cayton what you want done.
Kevin, can Jay Bright handle the corner if a crisis emerges tonight?
Well, that remains to be seen, but I think he'll be able to handle it. Whether or not he has a crisis situation or not, I don't think so. I think that Mike is not going to forget everything that Cus taught him and what I've been helping to keep teaching. Jay's been around Cus, and he's been around me. He's been in my gym. He was helping me in my gym. So I don't think Jay's an actor, and I think Jay can put on his acting hat and handle it, but I don't think there'll be a tough crisis. I hope not. I'm rooting for Mike Tyson. I'd be shocked if Bruno beat Mike. I won't be shocked if the fight is more difficult than people think it's going to be.
Thank you so much, Kevin Rooney. Heavyweight champion could put an amateur in his corner, marry badly, go into business with Don King, and still wind up rich. What a country. But in all this country, it seems the only safe place for Mike Tyson is in the ring right behind me. There are no banana peels there, no problems. And that's the problem for the challenger, Mr. Bruno. The problem is one of logic, brutal logic. If that's a haven for Mike Tyson, what can it be for his opponent? To endure that logic, Bruno will be paid $3.5 million, and they'll hear the cheers of some 2,000 countrymen who have come here. They adore him. And if he can extend this fight, they'll no doubt end up knighting him, and he'll be called Sir Frank Bruno.
The appalling behavior of English soccer fans in the past 3 years badly tarnished the image of British sport. These atrocities reflect societal problems above and beyond the fanatics' desperate cravings for a winner. But there's no doubt that a champion in anything would be a step toward restoring the dignity of a once proud nation. Standing tall as a saguaro cactus in the desert of Arizona where he trained for tonight's fight is England's Frank Bruno. In his own charming way, Bruno expresses the significance of representing his country for the most coveted individual crown in sport.
It's a big occasion, especially for England. It's a big occasion, especially for me. It's a big occasion, but I can't really put that sort of like big occasion on my back because I won't get out of my bed in the morning. But it's nice, but just put it at the back of your mind.
It's been 2 decades since Great Britain could claim proprietary interest in a fight of this magnitude. Overmatched Henry Cooper once dropped the great Cassius Clay to the canvas, but in 2 valiant tries, he fell short of vanquishing the legend. To this day, Cooper's most ardent fans are heartbroken. British British athletes in all sports perform under the weight of unbearable expectations. Most, like Joe Dury, struggle bravely, but fail. A few, like Virginia Wade, ultimately find championship medal. Frank Bruno hasn't had to win a championship to be loved and respected in England. The often fickle Fleet Street press fawns over a romantic relationship that, without marriage, has produced 2 lovely children. At first expressing fear for Frank's life against Mike Tyson, the tabloids have relented, creating a national fervor.
Frank Bruno is the most commercially viable sportsman in Britain today. He is the most popular, the most easily recognized, and he is in great demand for endorsements and for television commercials and various other advertising outlets.
How to get on the right side of Frank Bruno. Only one source can give all Frank's favourite foods the necessary punch. So in a couple of shakes, he's completely HP.
I've had good advice, and I've tried to stick to that advice. You know what I mean? And I'm just trying to do something out of my life than rather be a rebel, you know? And you get people knocking you and stabbing you and saying, no, he ain't one of us, he's trying to do this, he's trying to be a snob this, he's trying to be that. But I'm just a lit survivor, like everybody out there listening or watching, just a survivor that's trying to do well out of life.
Indeed, Bruno has survived and prevailed. The hard-punching Brit dispensed with 21 of his first 21 opponents by knockout. But in the first of his 2 losses, Bruno's stamina came into question along with his chin. His journeyman Bone Crusher Smith, behind on points, won a 10th round knockout. In Bruno's first title shot, veteran Tim Witherspoon humiliated the hometown hero in the 11th round, again after Bruno had led most of the fight. He bounced back with 3 victories before a ludicrous fight against a pathetic Joe Bugner. Now Bruno hasn't fought in 16 months. Manager Terry Lawless, architect of Bruno's success, has gambled toward his fighter's ultimate payday.
Well, the public wouldn't accept it, you see, unless he fought one of the top 3-4 heavyweights in the world. You know, we'd get destroyed for taking the fight. They don't understand that it's a warm-up job, you know. It would have to be a rated fighter, and you obviously couldn't take a chance. At this stage, the promotion wouldn't allow you to take it, and common sense wouldn't let you take it.
With the body of a Greek god, the chin of a poet laureate, and still untested skills in the boxing universe, Bruno forges on, unflappable.
I feel very confident. I've got the power, the timing. The time is right to beat him. It's peak time.
Though he may never reach the status of world champion, Frank Bruno has won the hearts of his countrymen. It's a plateau most fighters strive for their entire lives.
It's just possible, you see, that we do still prefer a good loser to a flashy winner. I know it's silly, but that's all part of the national psyche, and they do like people to be a little humble and not brag too much about their prowess. That is part of British upbringing, although it is changing. It certainly is changing.
And on this night of his life, at the age of 28, not having fought, as you see, in 488 days, Frank Bruno exits his dressing room and makes his way toward the ring. As he appears before this crowd, you will hear the cheers of more than 2,000 Englishmen who purchased tickets under the auspices of English promoter Jarvis Astaire, the man who had the original deal to host this fight in Wembley Stadium, and who have flown here to root for their man. Some think for only a brief period of time.
I can hardly think of an American athlete who would get that kind of loyal following. But one of the interesting things about that loyal following is that many of them are betting against Tyson, and some of the most, against Bruno, and some of the most curious betting I've ever seen. There's virtually no betting on who will win the fight. It's all on when the fight will end. And it's even money to end by the 3rd round. And many Britishers are betting against him.
And this despite the fact that on the 2 occasions when he has been knocked out, it was in the 10th round against Bone Crusher Smith and the 11th round against Tim Witherspoon.
Of course, everybody remembers the last fight, which was 91 seconds.
Frank Bruno enters the ring. We are told that he did not warm up a great deal in his dressing room, but he appears to have broken a sweat. You see the record, 32 wins, the 2 losses to Smith and Witherspoon, 31 knockouts for Bruno, most of them against palpably lesser opponents. And as we await the entrance of Mike Tyson, we ready you now for Ray Leonard's tip of the night. Ray?
Well, Jim, they asked, does Frank Bruno have a chance? And my answer, Jim, is yes. A puncher's chance, that is, because Frank Bruno's, his bread and butter is this powerful and devastating right hand. But you know, with power, that's one thing, but you also need other attributes. A good chin will definitely help him. Against some big punchers, Bruno's had some big difficulties. When we talk about Mike Tyson, Tyson likes to end the fight early, traditionally. But I think some early body shots will make this fight a whole lot easier for him as opposed to just going to the head. In order for him to get inside, the stiff and short jabs will get Tyson inside to do damage to the body. This should be an interesting and pretty much short fight.
And there comes the gladiator. 242 days, 242 monumentally eventful days have passed in his life since the 91-second destruction of Michael Spinks. And Tyson dispenses with the towel with the hole in the middle of it and comes toward the ring in his typical fashion, already in a full frothing sweat and ready to go.
According to some financial records that were released in some court actions, he spent almost $200,000 on clothes last year, but obviously none of them on sweat socks or robes.
Mike Tyson has fought 35 times. 4 different opponents have taken him the distance. There are very few here tonight who suspect that Frank Bruno will have a chance to become the 5th, much less to win the bout. And we look at the tail of the tape, and you will see that Frank Bruno has at least a 3.5-inch height advantage. Some would say it is greater than that. A 10-pound weight advantage, 11 inches in reach, and there are very few who believe that any of those numbers will be a factor in what happens here in the ring.
Bruno looks like a #1 pick, but Tyson plays like an all-star.
And as you pointed out once, Larry, Bruno has the best body in the heavyweight division since Ken Norton.
Well, here's our punch stat numbers. Punch stat, which purports to give a kind of statistical profile of how busy the fighters are. Unfortunately, Mike Tyson's busyness is not the issue in his fights. Not how many punches he throws, but the quality of the punches. Bruno may throw more, but Tyson throws them harder. And those numbers are also reflected in the number of jabs.
The WBC rules in effect for tonight's bout: 10-point must system scoring, 3 judges scoring the bout, no standing 8 count. A fighter can be saved by the bell only in the last round. Most significantly, there is no 3 knockdown rule in effect. A fighter could be knocked down 3 times in a round and still continue in the bout at the discretion of the referee. And right now, let's go up to ring announcer Chuck Hull with the pre-fight introductions.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Hilton Center of the Las Vegas Hilton Hotel, where tonight the Hilton Corporation presents an evening of World Championship Boxing. This bout is sanctioned by the WBC, the WBA, and the IBF, and by the Nevada State Athletic Commission. Elias Ghanem, chairman. The commissioners at ringside this evening are Dr. James Nave, Dwayne Ford, Freddie Little, and Jay Nady. The executive director is Chuck Minker. This fight sanctioned by the WBC, Jose Suleiman, president. The supervisor, James Nave. By the International Boxing Federation, Bobby Lee, president. Al Goodman, supervisor. And by the WBA, President Gilberto Mendoza. And the supervisors are Dr. James Nave and Santiago Chicas. The officials assigned by the governing bodies for the next bout of the evening. The judges are Jerry Roth of Las Vegas, Omar Mintun of Mexico, Rodolfo Maldonado of Panama. The timekeeper is Mike Lachella. Counting at the knockdowns, Mike Morabito. The attending physicians at ringside, Doctors Flip Omansky, Donald Romeo, and James Game. And your referee is Richard Steele. This is the main event of the evening. 12 rounds of boxing for the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world. Introducing, in the blue corner, fighting out of London, England, weighing in at 228 pounds, or 16 stone 4 pounds, with a professional record of 32 wins, 2 defeats, with 31 KOs. Ladies and gentlemen, he is rated #1 in the world by the WBC. He is the challenger, Frank Bruno. And in the red corner, from Catskill, New York, weighing 15 stone 8 pounds, or 218 pounds, he is undefeated in his professional career, 35 wins, 31 KOs. He is the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, Iron Mike Tyson.
Okay, listen. I gave both fighters their instructions in the dressing room. I'm cautioning you again. Obey my commands at all times. Is there any questions? Shake hands. Good luck.
This will not be the first time that Mike Tyson and Frank Bruno have faced each other in a boxing ring. When Tyson was 16 years old and Bruno was in this country to fight a boxer named Mike Jamison, they sparred for upwards of 20 rounds. By most accounts, Tyson got the better of his older opponent. And Tyson starts with a fury, and Bruno tries to punch back. Bruno down after a right hand. It is scored as a knockdown. So we've had a knockdown in the first 20 seconds of the bout.
Fastest knockout in heavyweight history, 55 seconds.
I kind of figured this would be somewhat of a street fight. It's not really boxing right here. Mike Tyson is traditionally doing what he does in the past. He's done in the past, rather. Go inside. Bruno's trying to make him respect him. A lot of rabbit shots thrown. Back of the head punch thrown by Frank Bruno.
Richard Steele warning Bruno not to hold Tyson at the back of the head. Mike seems oblivious to the right hands from Bruno. He just wants to get in and throw.
Somewhat of a smart tactic about holding on, but one thing about it, Bruno has a tendency, Jim, to stand straight up. As he throws his punches, he backs away, which leaves him susceptible to left hook.
Mike began with a fury going to the head. He has not yet thrown body shots, which a lot of people thought would be Bruno's biggest problem early.
There's blood from Bruno's nose.
Come on, let him go, Frank.
Solid left and a right by Tyson, and now Bruno rabbit punches Mike as he takes him to the ropes.
And again, it's a smart tactic by Frank Bruno. You know what's happening, because Mike hasn't fought in a while, Mike is getting a little anxious now. He's trying to throw little shots, and referee Steele is trying to, well, he's giving a warning.
And Bruno's getting a useful breather here as Richard Steele takes plenty of time to sort things out. Still a minute to go in the round.
You know, Bruno told us that he would be stronger than Mike Tyson. I don't particularly agree. Mike is incredibly strong.
Tyson finally went to the body in that last exchange. Now Bruno lands a short left inside. And Tyson wobbles for a second.
There's that puncher's chance I had talked about.
And now another left hand from Bruno. And it is Mike Tyson who for a second there lost his balance.
Mike was really rocked by that shot by Frank Bruno.
The crowd here stunned by the early fury of this action. Bruno is going to make it out of the first round, and so for that matter does Tyson.
One man down, the other man wobbled. I'll take it.
And as Mike Tyson said at the top of our show, he's back.
Much correct it. You heard him there. But the referee has taken a point from Bruno. Let's take a look at the knockdown. This is that same knockdown. It was a short right inside that seemed to hurt Bruno, and then he went down from a shot on top of the head. And here is Bruno coming back with that right hand, and then the left. And there was the left that wobbled Tyson. But remember, the referee has taken a point away from Bruno.
As round two begins, Tyson lands a solid left hook.
Step back.
It's apparent that Bruno is working on his left hand too, because in the past it's always been his right hand that was able to do the damage. The left hook was able to daze and hurt Mike Tyson.
Punch and get out. Get your arm back, Frank. Frank, step back.
See, even inside, Jim, I don't think it's good for Bruno to just stand there because Tyson's arms are shorter, he can get those little shots in there.
Get your arm back, Frank. Get your arm back.
Left hand to the body by Bruno, and Tyson wailed back, but missed.
Bruno needs a jab out there to keep Tyson off balance.
Bruno's got the distance now that he needs to jab, but he hasn't started to throw it with any consistency, just pawing with it so far.
What Bruno's doing, and it's so elementary, he's measuring with the jab and trying to drop the right hand. Just can't wait so long. Just keep it out, it's caught out there.
Tyson with two chopping lefts inside. Bruno landed a right to the face of Tyson, but didn't have any leverage behind it.
Don't hold him.
The Englishman in the crowd chanting, Bruno, Bruno.
Punch it out. There we go.
Bruno here trying to outmuscle Mike Tyson like he stated earlier.
Get out.
And certainly Tyson exercising more caution, perhaps with the memory of that short left hook.
Caution and respect. Mike trying to drop that right hand in on there.
Trying to load it up, which he might be able to do against a fighter as slow and mechanical as Bruno.
Well, it's apparent that Bruno's been doing some homework. Look at him. The left hook, he turned it into an uppercut.
And there's an uppercut from Tyson. But Frank Bruno has shown us some monumental improvement with the left hand since his last appearance on HBO against Tim Witherspoon.
I would like, if I was in Tyson's corner, I would like to see some body shots because Bruno's a tall guy. The body shots will do some damage. Bring those hands down.
Come on, work it out.
Mike fanned the air mightily with the left hook. And there's another short left inside by Bruno. He is astonishingly effective with it. Right hand by Tyson landed flush on the jaw. Bruno in trouble again.
Mike's going to push it now.
Another good tough round, and a lot of people have lost their bets for betting that this fight would end in the first 2 rounds. It was a sucker bet. Sometimes the suckers win. Usually they don't.
7-7-2 to come inside. And throw those punches with bad intentions. Mean.
Now use your left hand to get in. Don't lay on the outside. Close that gap. Right? Get in the inside. That's left jab. Right? Use that left jab to get you in there. Side to side. Right? Don't lay still.
Whack with that right when he comes. You just hook him underneath like he did, okay? Frank, now get yourself together now. You can fucking do it, okay? I'm telling you. Come on. He took his best shots, now come on.
Here's Tyson with that straight right hand. Very good, straight, classic right hand.
Round 3 begins. Both fighters anticipated the bell, and Richard Steele had to pull them apart.
Punching it out, Ed. Punching it out. Don't hold him, Bruno.
Tyson going to the body.
Exactly. And this way he can bring some hands down, slow down the movement of Frank Bruno.
And Bruno continues to win respect inside, particularly with the left.
You're holding, Frank. You're holding. Punch and get out of there. Let's go. Come on, punch inside and get out. Punch and get out.
Mike Tyson, I recall, throws a bolo shot with the same hand. And I wait for that same shot to the body, to the head.
All right, break. Step back, step back, step back.
Tyson is not jabbing to get in as he did in his recent bouts. He's just stepping in and throwing shots. A brutal body shot there.
That shot there takes so much out of an opponent, especially in later rounds.
Step back, step back. You're holding, you're holding.
Mike appears to, he wants now to just bob and weave and get in, as opposed to using his left jab.
Come on, let's go. Work and get out. Work and get out. Break. Step back, step back.
Right hand by Tyson, partially blocked.
Come on, work and get out. Work and hold it. There we go, Mike. There we go. Come on, Bruno. Break. Step back, step back. Come on, punch and get out. Don't hold it, Frank.
Some English observers said Bruno didn't know how to clinch and hold inside, but he's done a reasonable job of it so far.
Jim, to prepare him for this kind of fight for the last year, they've had Bruno wrestling in mid-ring with the strongest man in Great Britain for this exact kind of fight.
Now, I think it paid off because it gave him a sense of knowing how to tie his man up. It's very unorthodox, but it's work.
Come on, work and get out. Let him go, Frank. You're holding, you're holding. All right, break. Step back, step back, step back, Mike.
The most successful fighters against Tyson have been those who've been able to hold him and throw his rhythm off.
All right, break. Step back.
Mike is getting a lot of shots off here, but only one or two at a time, not in big bunches. Bruno chopping away with the right hand, not doing much damage, but making Tyson aware that he's willing to fight back. This has been a highly creditable effort so far by a Frank Bruno who could easily have been gone in round one.
Some body shots by Frank Bruno.
Come on, work and get out there. Work and get out. Work.
A left hand after the bell by Tyson. And the Britishers in the crowd react.
If he makes it through another couple of rounds, they'll give him Scotland.
Got his mouth. Yeah, right? You gotta work this body a little bit more. Then set it up to the head. Them body shots, baby. You gotta use a lot of them sevens. A lot of sevens.
He must slip and hit, Michael. Don't walk straight in. That's what he's waiting for.
Finish him off.
Use
right hand, left hook, right hand, left hook, right hand, left hook. All right? Come on. Gotta use a lot of sevens to get in there. Stay inside. All right? Stay inside. Be mean in there.
Larry F. got it 30-25 favor of Mike Tyson. In the first round, Frank Bruno lost a point because of the knockdown and a point because Richard Steele took away a point for holding.
And for the record, let's note that the chief second in Tyson's corner is not Jay Bright. It is Aaron Snowell who does most of the talking to the fighter.
Tyson now was told to use the jab as opposed to just walking in, and he's doing just that.
He's not going to have to for too long if he lands another right hand like the one he just landed moments ago. But Bruno seems to be okay.
Step back, step back, step back, step back, step back.
Blood again now from Bruno's nose, probably as the result of that early right hand in this round.
What Bruno should be doing is throwing some uppercuts. As Mike comes in without using his left jab, he needs to raise Mike's chin.
Let's go, Frank. Let's go, let's go.
Or either jab. I would suggest a jab because jab doesn't allow you to get into trouble. If you stick it out quick enough and snap it.
That jab won't do him much good.
It's a lazy, it's what we call, Jim, a lazy jab. And lazy jab, it's always a counter right hand that follows it.
It's the kind that Tyson will simply walk through. Left hook got just behind the glove of Bruno. Bruno with the left. Not as solid as the ones in rounds 1 and 2.
You're holding, Mike. Somebody, don't hold him.
Bruno is a big man. He's a physically strong man, and I would again suggest that Tyson wear him down. The same principles of chopping the tree down. You got to kill the foundation.
Step back. Step back. Step back.
There's a body shot. That's what you mean by chopping the man down.
And you see now, Mike is starting to get off a body attack.
Get your arm back, Frank. Get your arm back, Frank.
But again, Ray, 1 or 2 punches at a time.
Well, we need to see a series of combinations thrown to the midsection of Frank Bruno. Bruno needs to throw it, snap his jab.
Come on, Frank, get out of there. Get your arms back. Pull them back. Come on, Mike. Pull your arms back.
This is when it's dangerous for Frank Bruno because, again, he's an erect target as he stands straight up.
All right, break.
And that's why Mike jumps in with the left hook.
Earlier in his career, Tyson had a tendency to be lazy in clinches, not to throw the body shots that were necessary. Then he stepped up the pace, was very effective with it. Tonight, there's been a little of both.
Two stiff left jabs by Mike Tyson.
Step back. Don't hold him, Mike. Let him go. Come on.
I'm sure Tyson's probably going to tell him to work the body and use the jab as opposed to just going in with his head.
And come straight up the middle and use the uppercut like that. He's been effective when he comes straight up the middle instead of winging shots from side to side.
That cheer you hear is for the over and under of 4 rounds, which a lot of people bet. But what's going on here, gentlemen, is another bone crusher Smith-Tyson fight, which isn't the most beautiful kind of fight to watch. But Bruno is just trying to survive now. He's really not fighting.
You're hurting, but you're falling in. Throw that right hand, twist it that way. All right?
Doing good.
Suck it up.
A fucking good wallop on the left hook off the jab, okay?
Took him by surprise. When it comes in with both and whack, you've got to whack it.
Come on, you're on charge. Come on, let's have it. Go!
That is Aaron Snowell, the new face, whom you saw whispering into Tyson's ear.
Let's see how far Tyson has come since that Bone Crusher Smith fight, which was a very unsatisfying fight for him and the crowd. Let's see if he knows how to chop the man down.
You know, Mike's getting a little over anxious, and he's coming in with his feet together and his chin exposed.
I think he's been over anxious virtually since the opening bell, Ray.
Well, too many times people say, well, this fight won't go 3 rounds or 2 rounds. And sometimes the fighter believes that. Frank Bruno doesn't believe it.
Solid right hand inside by Tyson. Again, Bruno ties him up.
I heard Bruno corner say, throw some uppercuts.
Don't hold him, Frank. Don't hold him.
Bruno trying that left hook inside, but the starch has gone out of this. No longer does it hurt Mike the way it did in rounds 1 and 2.
All right, break. Step back. You're holding, Frank. Break. Step back. Last one.
And you saw our pre-fight interview with Tyson's deposed trainer, Kevin Rooney. We should now report that Rooney has left that camera position and gone back to the Golden Gloves amateur boxing competition in Schenectady. He is not watching this fight.
And remember that he said he thought the fight would be tougher than other people did.
Look, I see so much body exposed of Bruno.
Get right.
It's like an open invitation.
Solid left hook inside. And an uppercut with the right. And Bruno is wobbled again. Bruno will try to hold on. Tyson tries to get punching room and hits Bruno with an elbow in the mouth. Uppercut, right hand. Bruno's in serious trouble. A left hook. And Richard Steele watching carefully. Only guts keeping Bruno up at this moment. There's blood trickling from his nose and his mouth. Tyson really doing damage with the uppercuts. Just missed with the right. Trying to land the one haymaker.
Oh, it's just a matter of
This
time
is
here.
vicious punishment.
That's that shot. That's that bolo shot.
And
Beautiful
Richard
shot.
Steele has seen enough. As Terry Lawless throws in the towel simultaneously.
That was that shot, Jim. That double shot with the same hand.
And what you saw there, as I said earlier in the round, is a mark of the progress of Mike Tyson from a good, raw, young heavyweight into a great heavyweight who knew how to go about his work.
Official time, 2:55 of round number 5.
Thank you.
In a professional execution, Mike Tyson makes relatively short work, not as short as some believed it would be, but relatively short work of a game challenger at Frank Bruno.
A game challenge by Frank Bruno. Bruno held his own. Forget about what the critics thought. Bruno was in there. He was able to hurt Mike Tyson, gain some respect, but Tyson, as usual, was able to come back strong and put Frank Bruno out of the fight game.
So victory number 1 for the new team Tyson. Victory number 1 for the corner group of Aaron Snowell and John Horn and Jay Bright.
Well, Mike Tyson just started his momentum, started building up his points and his punches, and he's starting to wear down Frank Bruno. I like the looping right hand. Some miss, but you know, Jim, the punch that really did the most damage was the uppercuts, little short uppercuts.
Here is the same action, and there you saw the left hook inside that started it, much as was the case in his destruction of Michael Spinks, followed by a right uppercut solidly to the face of Bruno, and after that, the challenger was just holding on. And there was a moment there where Tyson got inside and smashed an elbow into Bruno's mouth to make punching. There's the uppercut.
Those are the short uppercuts that do so much damage, and people just don't appreciate those little short shots. Now watch these shots here with the same hand. Again, that left hook has been doing a great deal of damage to Frank Bruno in the earlier rounds. A lot of them missed, but the punch that did get through, Jim, were able to slow down Frank Bruno. That shot there, the uppercut, beautiful combination. Now watch as he goes to the body and he doubles his shots up.
All right, here now the sequence which ended the bout as Richard Steele ultimately decided he had seen enough. And at this moment, Terry Lawless, the manager of Frank Bruno, was running along the ring apron with a towel in hand, asking Steele to stop it.
It's a double punch with the same hand, to the body, to the chin. Here it is, to the midsection, right up the middle. Beautiful shot. He's hurt a lot of guys. In fact, he knocked out Robalto the same way. You see the leverage of Mike Tyson. There, to the body and straight up the middle. I'm going to use that shot one day.
Has any heavyweight ever thrown the uppercut with such devastating effect?
Not that way. And Jim is short and powerful and a great deal of leverage.
Certainly not in recent memory. Has anyone used that punch?
In the middle, right there, and straight up.
Right there.
Oh, beautiful shot.
He once offended some members of the boxing press when he said after knocking out Jesse Ferguson with a similar shot that his objective was to drive the nose bone up into the brain. It's just a mnemonic, a technique for knowing what to do with the uppercut. Now to Larry Merchant with the champion. Larry?
Mike, another one on your belt, another notch. Was this harder than you anticipated?
No, not at all, because I knew that he was going to come up, he was talking, and the way he was talking, I knew he was hyped. He was ready to go. And I knew I was the best fighter in the world. And I wasn't worried about
20 seconds into the fight, though, you've got him on the canvas. Do you think what's going on here, it's all over?
No, I knew he wasn't hurt. Thank you, Frank. God bless you.
Good guy, Bruno.
I knew he wasn't hurt as bad as everybody thought him was, but I didn't hit him with a solid shot.
What did you hit him with?
I think it was the right hand, somewhat grazing.
Yeah, and then you hit him on top of the head and he went down. Were you then surprised that he came back and he seemed to hit you with a pretty good left in that round?
When he got up, he meant business. Oh, man.
But did that left hand shake you momentarily that he hit you with in that round?
He was throwing a great deal of hard punches, but I refused to go down. They didn't even faze me.
After that round, it seemed that you had established that you were the guy, and now he was just there to hold on. Was that how it seemed to you in the ring?
Absolutely. But still, he was sneaking some very hard punches in between that.
So he was stronger than some people gave him credit for.
Absolutely. Well, you have to think, when fighters come to fight the heavyweight champ of the world, like Ali, they automatically become better fighters.
What happened in the 5th round that you saw? Was you knew that he was weakened enough after the 4th round that it was just a matter of time?
Well, absolutely. I knew I was going to get him.
All right. Memories of Bone Crusher Smith passed through my mind. A guy who hugged you for 12 rounds.
Well, no, I knew he wasn't about the hugging for 12 rounds because he was trying to impress his Englishmen out here. And I'm just convinced, you know what I mean? These fellas, how dare them challenge me with their somewhat primitive skills. They're just as good as dead.
So that, in effect, though, didn't this show how much you have improved since Bone Crusher Smith, that you could chop him down the way you did?
Well, eventually, we have 12 rounds. Hopefully, I wish there were 15 rounds, but the rules prevail for them to be 12, and we have to live by the rules. And I wasn't worried at all.
So many months you haven't been in the ring. How does it feel to have finally got in here and do what you say you do best?
It felt great. Being here and the people scream and yell, the people scream for him, it's motivating me more.
What can you tell me what? Can you tell me what plans you have now, Mike?
Well, at this particular time, right now, I'm just going to go home and watch a movie called Lean on Me.
Don King, can you tell us, do you have any fights planned and with whom?
I'm going to go with him to watch Lean on Me. And after we watch that, he's going to be talking about it at the post-fight press conference. We'll be talking about guys like Jose Luis Rebalta or Carl Williams, somebody, because he wanted to get back in the ring again in me.
So you're saying there's nothing actually planned now, but you are thinking about several different options.
New York! We're planning several different options, but we will be fighting in me.
Thank you very much, Don. Thank you very much, Mike. Back to you, Jim.
All right, thank you very much, Larry. Briefly, let's look at final punch stat computations on the bout. Tyson threw 202 punches. His rate of connection went way up in the last round, and he wound up landing 44% of them. Bruno, a game challenge, as we said, 170 punches thrown, 37 of them landed for 22%. Right now, let's go to ring announcer Chuck Hull for the official decision in the fight.
Ladies and gentlemen, the time, 2 minutes, 55 seconds of the 5th round. Referee Richard Steele stops the bout. The winner by a TKO and still undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, Iron Mike Tyson.
So the big question, Ray, was how would he look after 8 months away from the ring, all of the turmoil in his personal life, the changes in his professional existence. To your educated eye, did he look any different?
Well, he was a little tentative in the earlier goings because I guess he had to figure out Frank Bruno. Knowing that Frank Bruno was a very strong and powerful man, he was a little cautious, but then again, he got a little over anxious. Bruno was able to hurt him one time I saw, and Mike Tyson's always been in the past, came on strong, worked the body, was able to do that shot. I love that combination.
Technically just as effective as ever.
Oh, no question about it. And the more Mike fights, the better Mike gets.
All right, and Frank Bruno, he fought gamely and tried hard and ultimately didn't have enough, and he's with Larry Merchant right now.
All right, Frank, you're one of the few people now who have had the experience of being in here with Mike Tyson. What is it like?
A very, very good experience. He's a good fighter. But as I said, he's just a human being like everybody else.
But you didn't have the kryptonite tonight.
No, not tonight. Didn't have the kryptonite.
But you did hit him with an awfully good punch in the first round, a left hook. Did you feel him crumble a little?
Yeah, I felt him crumble very well.
But was he too clever to be able to get more punches in at?
He's a very good fighter. As I said, you couldn't take nothing away from Mike Tyson. And I thought I had the power to beat him tonight, but unfortunately I didn't win.
Did you fight the best possible fight you could fight? Because it seemed you were more aggressive than we anticipated you being.
Not really. I should have fought a bit more constructive a fight, but I can't really take nothing away from Mike Tyson. He's a good fighter.
Were you hurt when he knocked you down in the first round?
I should have, not hurt, shocked more than hurt. Shocked.
So that it was a sort of a warning of this is how he punches.
Yeah, you could say so, yeah.
Thank you very much, Frank, for a game fight.
Thank you very much. Hello, everybody in America. Take it easy.
Jim?
All right, thanks a lot, Larry. As for Ray and me, our shirts go to the cleaners next week with Frank Bruno's blood on them. The future of Mike Tyson in the heavyweight division. There is talk of a mandatory defense against Carl "The Truth" Williams. Not many believe that The Truth would be indelible against Tyson's own particular truth. There is talk of taking him to Rio de Janeiro to fight a Jose Ribalta. There's anticipation about the ultimate arrival as a full-fledged heavyweight, former cruiserweight champion, Evander Holyfield. Do you see anyone on the horizon who could give Mike a legitimate run for his money?
Not really. I think for Mike Tyson, it's unfortunate in the heavyweight division, there's no one that's qualified to do away with Mike Tyson. They're talking about Evander Holyfield. That's too premature.
Evander Holyfield, of course, like Michael Spinks, is someone who would have to get a little heavier. He's in the process of doing that right now, and has proven himself to be an effective fighter as a heavyweight, if not yet a heavy knockout puncher.
Well, he's going to get stronger quite naturally because of their program, but I think we have to see what's going to happen with Michael Dokes and Evander Holyfield. So I'm looking forward to that fight to see the results and his performance in with a heavyweight, a legitimate heavyweight.
Mike's entire history talking about Tyson and a lot of his eminence was built on a schedule that had him fighting at first twice a month, ultimately once every 2 months as heavyweight champion. Could you see him continuing to be as effective as he was tonight, fighting, say, once every 8 months, once every 10 months, once every 6 months?
You know, because Mike Tyson enjoys doing what he's in the ring. He's enjoyed fighting. I like to see Mike Tyson fights like once every 6 months or once every 8 months.
All right, Ray, having returned now from the ring wars and back in his position as Larry Merchant. Larry, we've talked a little bit about what happened tonight. Mike's apparent no loss of effectiveness after 8 months away from the ring, the future and the outlook for possible opponents for him. How do you sum up what you saw?
Well, it's not as easy as some people thought it would be after seeing him beat a big light heavyweight in Michael Spinks. If you go in there against a big professional fighter, he can manage to extend it a while, and in its own way, this kind of demolition may even be more impressive than what he did against Michael Spinks. Michael Spinks, it was just a steamroller and a cockroach, in effect. Here he had to chop down a big, well-conditioned, strong and determined man. He did it with professional aplomb and professional violence. A lot of people don't think that Mike Tyson knows right from wrong very well, but he sure knows left from right really well.
Your comments on his business future. A lot of people say, who are knowledgeable, who know that there was only a truce in the war between Bill Caton and Don King, which made this fight possible, not a full-fledged surrender on either side, that what's in the offing immediately is more litigation. Do you see him back in the ring anytime soon?
Well, there are a number of things that are possible. He's trying to break the contract of Bill Caton. That seems unlikely since the contract he's trying to break was resolved in a court dispute only last summer. If that contract is not broken, there are a myriad of options, but I suspect that in the end of the day, economics will determine it, that cities like Las Vegas and Atlantic City and many foreign cities want to put up the big top for Mike Tyson. They want a ringside seat at his circus, and where there's all that money, there'll be a way.
And what ultimately is at stake for Tyson, besides a lot of money, continued notoriety? Well, his place in boxing history is certainly something that is important to a young man who studies films and tapes of old fighters, who knows the records of his predecessors as heavyweight champion, who is acutely aware that as of tonight, he has now fought 36 times in his professional career and won all 36 of those fights, 32 of them by knockout. One previous heavyweight champion, Rocky Marciano, retired undefeated with a record of 49-0. That ultimately, you have to believe, is one of Mike Tyson's big goals, to approach that particular plateau and perhaps to eclipse it. Stay tuned now to HBO. We're immediately following our coverage of World Championship Boxing